one. It's going to get me to do more region hopping in this one, isn't it? Doesn't have it, yeah, that's fine. So the premise of day 18. The Grinch Enterprises has been gloating about their attack on an underground forum. We know they were specifically targeting organisations in a campaign they've themed Advent of Cyber. What a frustrating coincidence. Tracing the user back over time, we've also encountered a reference to using AWS Elastic Container Registry to store the container images they used as infrastructure in their attack. Let's see if we can find out more about the attack tooling Grinch Enterprises is using. Good luck, man. I'm going to look for a bit. No worries, dude. Cheers for your help earlier. So we're going to be doing stuff with Docker in this, I guess. If we're looking at containers. Oh yeah, there we go. You'll need to start the attack box commands using Docker. Containers are a virtualization mechanism using virtual machines. And container images are based on the Open Container Initiative distribution specification. However, when someone talks about Docker or containers, they're often talking about multiple container technologies that work together. Specifically, the term Docker is used to describe the Docker API, the Docker daemon, and the Docker container image format. Now that we've gotten some basic terminology out of the way, let's start today's objective, learning the Elastic Container Registry. Today we'll be covering the basics of container images and AWS Elastic Container Registry, an online registry for public and private container images. We'll learn how to retrieve a container image and inspect the elements of the container to identify potential security issues. In cloud-native computing environment, containers are first choice solution for deploying infrastructure. Similar to virtual machines, containers serve as compute fabric for many running applications and hosted processing in the cloud. Once you've logged onto an attack box, you can run the following command to see the container images that are stored by default on your attack box. I can tell you right now, it's going to be a grand total of nothing. So let's tidy up some stuff. Alright, Docker. Let's get a shell that works. Images. Docker is not found. Alright, well, that's installing Docker. Let's go again. Alright, so it will list out all of the Docker images. Yes. Which should return an output similar to the following. Docker containers are stored in repositories which are referenced to file mappings the Docker daemon knows how to reach, which includes the container.tar files. Each image in a repository will include an image tag, and images can be referenced using either their tag or the image ID. For example, remnux/sci-fi latest or the ID number. Grinch Enterprises attack surface. We've traced the Grinch Enterprises attack infrastructure back to a likely Elastic Container Registry that is publicly accessible. So let's grab that. You can retrieve the potential Grinch Enterprises image by running the following command on the attack box. So let's see if Docker images first command works. Need sudo So yeah, we've got nothing there. And then if we do docker pull public -ecr database how 1j9 e3 Grinch AOC latest. And I need to run sodding sudo again. Name unknown. Oh, AOC. Helps if I don't fat finger stuff. Cool, so that's pulling that. Eventually all those pulls are complete. You can run the container and interact with it using the following command: docker run -it, the name of the Docker file. So I have to wait a little bit for that to finish. I'll copy that. So one pull's completed. It's funny how some of them can extract like simultaneously and then the rest has to do it one at a time. Cool. Pow. Right, so we can run the next command. And I need to sudo again. Any time today? Once this figures out what it's doing, it should give me a shout back. That looks like it. So ls dash, brilliant, ls la. So that lets me look at the files. Which shows there are no regular files or subdirectories in the present working directory. So there's that. A good place to check the next environment variable in Linux, and especially containers environment, may be used to store secrets or other sensitive data. So we use to configure the container at runtime. So if we print environment, to learn more about the environment configurations, we'll see what? Print end. So we've stumbled upon an API key. That's this bad boy. I'm guessing Grinch Enterprises didn't intend to leave it behind. Let's copy that. And Right, so bonus challenge. A container image is comprised of a numerous layer. Perhaps there is sensitive information on the underlying container layer that Grinch Enterprises didn't clean up as part of the build process. One key reason that developers and attackers might package their app or attack tools in a container is that container allows the developer to freeze an application and its dependencies into an image as part of the build process. The build process is part of the software development lifecycle where applications and their dependencies are packaged together and tested prior to distribution and use. Once an image is built, running the container image will always result in the same configuration state as specified at build time. Container images are built from a source file known as a Docker file. Docker files are a list of new line separated instructions that instruct the Docker daemon how to generate a container image. You can read an exhaustive explanation of how to write Docker files in the Docker file reference. Grab that just in case we need it. Close that. Oh no, we need that. To see an example of the Docker file here, in case of Grinch Enterprises, we don't have the original Docker file, but with the container image we have something just as good. Let's start by creating a new directory and saving the download image as a tar file. So let's also dump that just over there. So, we're going to make the directory in here, are we? So, make dir. Why it's so annoying, backspace doesn't work. AOC. CD AOC, so we go into that directory. I'm going to do docker. Save aoc.tar public.ecr. This is frustrating. Just copy it. Docker not found. So we're actually doing that locally then, not. Oh yeah, so they exited. So make dir, I gotta do that again. Make dir ASC, cd ASC. Run the docker command. As root. Once we've saved the image, we can further inspect the image by unpacking and compressing the file. Oh, unpacking the compressed file. Right, so we've got that. So tar xf aoc.tar. Okay. And then if we do. Oh, they did verbose just to see the command, so it's that it did run. These files represent the various container images with the exception of the manifest file. Manifest represents the manifest of container image layers that compose the final container image. We were just inside. Let's take a look at the image using a tool called JQ. I think this is what Sick in the Mind suggested we use earlier. To pretty print the output for easy readability. So I need to install that at Install JQ. Yes.
Thank you for the follow.
Thank you for the follow, X Headshot Hector. So which services should be restarted? I don't bloody know. Let's restart them. So that should let us do cat manifest.json pipe JQ. Hey, that's quite handy actually. Note the first piece of information in the file is config. This represents the underlying configurations and commands used to build the container image. This configuration file is also located in the root of the unpacked container image directory. And it can be inspected under the same manifest as in the same manner as manifest. So instead of manifest.json, need that disgusting long name. Cool, so that's a bit more comprehensive. Yeah, so the first section of the manifest configuration walks through the final image configuration as intended to run on the container host system. However, the next section is of particular interest to an attacker. Here's how the container image was built. You can see each section broken up by curly braces. Some of the sections have an extra line indicating empty layer true. Yeah, so like those ones. Yes, there's a couple in there. Each of these sections are describing a particular command run by the Docker daemon at the time that the image was built. If the empty layer true configuration is not listed as part of the section definition, then the container layer is retained in the overall container image as one of those layers is listed in manifest. Of particular interest, we notice the container containers, a tool called env-console that is pulled from GitHub. Yes, that one. That is pulled from GitHub. Reviewing the GitHub repository for env-console, the about description states that env-console is a tool that allows users to launch a subprocess with environment variables using data from HashiCorp, console and Vault. Let's have a look. Okay. Convenient way to launch a subprocess with environment variable populated from HashiCorp. Noting that the source code was cloned into a root directory, perhaps there is something sensitive related to env-console that a regular container user isn't intended to see at Grinch Enterprises. Let's dig through the image layers and see if we can find out what's so sensitive about env-console. We can see more closely inspect the layers by switching the subdirectories representing the layers in the unpacked container root directory. As we switch between these layers, we'll notice one layer of special interest. So let's go back to the bottom. CD. Is it not auto-filling for me? That's better. So tar dash x 1. That was supposed to be sudo, right? I do need to do layer tar. Okay. I don't know what you're supposed to be looking for here though, so it's like we've got a config.hcl and root env console. So 2.2, let's try it. So I want to keep going until I find that, effectively the root. So cd to C. Okay, so that's better. Then cat. Sudo. Okay, so you can view the configuration file of env console. So they've catted it there. So this contains the config HCL file. We'll look at this file for the container image. It's clear that sensitive configurations are maintained in the file. Let's try and find some before. So, Vault Service Console. Oh, we've got a token as well. And a namespace. Wrap token, renew token, SSL, query my service. Okay, so how would you use that token? We can return a secret or token there is on line 4 when grabbing with the string token. Okay, they just cat it out and don't bother looking, just search for the word token. I wonder if Grinch Enterprises devs knew that the container cached all the container layers. Either way, we can turn the tables on Grinch Enterprises and access their vault cluster with all the secrets. So what is the command that will list container images stored in your local container registry? That was docker, was it list? Docker. Oh, it's like the first thing we did. Images, that's the one. Cool. So docker images. What command will allow you to save Docker images as a tar archive? That was Docker. This was should have done these as I went through. Pull. No. Save. That was it. What is the name of the file, including file extension for the configuration repository tags layer hash value stored in a container image? That is manifest JSON. What is the token value found for the bonus challenge? And I saved that in here. Token. Oh. Cool, yeah, I like that. I don't genuinely use Docker at all in my day job, but I should probably look into doing it a bit more. So yeah, that's good. I like that the best thing about these challenges so far is it like really highlights where your skills gaps are because it's so broad. There's some of these things I just like whizzed through, and then other bits where you're like, oh shit, I've actually got to think about what I'm doing. Yeah, that brings me up to day 18. Day 19 is probably going to be out in like a couple hours. But yeah, probably not for a little while yet. I will do that one on Monday along with day 20's exercise. Let's see if we've got any other tech tubers on. Doesn't look like it. It's on science and tech. Oh, someone else is doing Advent of Code. So which one are they on?
Have you heard the one?
Let's have a look. Right, we'll raid this chap.
What do we want? Our cursor is basically gonna be...
Yeah, cool. Alright, we'll raid this dude. Nikuvio. He's also doing the challenges, so let's go wish him some luck. Hopefully he can do them as well. Thank you everyone that's followed. Thank you for the raids. Chris Nova and Security Live. Thank you both for those massive raids. Thank you for all the follows. Thank you for sticking around. Hopefully I was entertaining and you were able to follow through with some of them. I'll export them all to YouTube and put them in the content, like the collections on Twitch as well, so you can view them later on. Yeah, that's it for me. I'll see you on Monday if you rejoin. So, ciao.